Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I decided to do a foundation review for you guys. I'm reviewing the new L'Oreal Paris Infallible Total Coverage Foundation. I've heard a lot of good things about this foundation. I've also heard a lot of bad things about this foundation. So I decided to pick it up at my local drugstore and give it a try and see how it works with my skin. So if you guys want to see my thoughts on the new L'Oreal Paris Infallible Total Coverage Foundation, then let's get straight into the video. So starting off with packaging of this foundation, I picked it up at my local drugstore and I believe it was $12. I'm not entirely sure, but I will put the price of the item somewhere on the screen. So let me read the claims of this foundation. So it says on their website that it is up to 24 hours total coverage foundation. It has a weightless feel. It gets up to 24 hours of full coverage with a lightweight feel and a natural finish. Infallible Total Coverage Foundation blends instantly to cover dark spots, blemishes, scars, and hyperpigmentation for a flawless complexion. The full coverage foundation is formulated with high-load pigments for total coverage and is enriched with, don't know how to pronounce this word, Allagel? I don't know what that is, but I guess this has something to do with your skin. I don't know. And the formula glides on and feels fresh all day, and it will create the perfect canvas for flawless makeup application. Sorry if I sound a little weird. I lost my voice because we had a huge track meet yesterday, and it was like our big conference meet, and of course we're screaming and yelling for everybody, so I sound a little out of place, but that's what it says on the website. So I'm intrigued by that because if you guys can't tell, my skin tone, I have a lot of hyperpigmentation because I have rosacea. This isn't acne, it's just redness and I guess scarring. So I really want to put this to the test. I don't know where I read this, but I heard that this also covers tattoos. So it's supposed to be really, really full coverage. I'm not a full coverage girl, but I'll give it a try. So on the back of on the L'Oreal tubes, it always gives you like the finish of the foundation. So it says the finish is natural versus like a demi matte or radiant. This is just, I guess it's not too matte and not too glowy. It says the texture is air light and the coverage is high, and then the wear is up to 24 hours, which is crazy because I would not wear a foundation for 24 hours, but some people want their makeup to last all day long, especially if they're going to like an event or if they're going out or on vacation. You don't really want to worry about your foundation, so I'm going to put this to the test. So I'm going to do the same thing that I normally do when I do my foundation. I usually always apply primer, so that's what I'm going to do to see how it lasts on my skin. It all depends on your preference and what you do, but I will be applying primer, and the primer that I usually use is the Professional to minimize the pores right in here, and then I'll go in with the Milani Make It Last setting spray just so it lasts around the entire face. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I put my hair up so you guys can really see the foundation and my hair doesn't get in my way because it tends to get in the way sometimes. So I'm going to go in and apply it with my damp beauty blender. That is what I usually use to apply my foundation. I don't really resort to a brush just because it really doesn't work well with my skin, and also I always feel like when I use foundations, whatever type of foundation is, whether it's liquidy or more thick like this foundation or a stick foundation, it always leaves brush streaks on my skin. It just doesn't work well with my skin, and this just adds a little bit of hydration back into my skin, just because I have really dry skin right now. So that's what I usually apply my foundation with, and that's what I'm going to be using today. So yeah. So the first look of the packaging, it comes in a tube, and it has an unscrew cap right here, and then has kind of like a squirt end to it, which is kind of weird. I don't really own a foundation like this. I guess it saves product because you can really, I don't know how much I'm going to use. Wow, it's super thick. I don't even know, I don't want to put too much on my hand because I don't want to waste it. It's just super, super, super thick, and it has like a moussey consistency. I think this will be my shade. The shade I'm using today is 305 Natural Beige. I'm pretty sure that's the same shade that I am in the Pro Glow. That's why I got it. So yeah, I'm going to put some in the back of my hand and we're going to start applying. Wow, this is so thick. So I mainly focus the foundation on my cheeks just because that's where I tend to have the most redness. I don't know how much foundation to use. I think this will do for now. It is super, super thick. I honestly would recommend using a beauty blender with these types of foundations just because the beauty blender shears out the product a little bit so it's not as thick on your skin. I'm not sure how I'm liking this right now. It's just like not blending. I don't know, I put quite a bit on my skin. I just don't know if I like it or not. I'm not sure, just because it just like, it took so long to blend out. Like I feel like it was a struggle to blend out. I really don't like that. And I feel like I still see some like birthmarks and stuff coming through my skin, which is fine. It makes it look more like your skin, but it claimed to be full coverage. And I don't think it is. And I put quite a bit on. Like it wasn't like I put only a light layer. Let's try the other side. The coverage is one thing, but I just like don't like how it blended out. Okay, I put a little bit more. Let's see if that works. Okay, so I feel like this side blended out a little bit easier than the right side. I don't know why. Maybe it was because I didn't put enough product, and sometimes if it's thick it looks streaky if you don't put enough on. This product really does remind me of the Kat Von D Lock It Foundation. Super, super thick in consistency like that foundation. So this is with one layer of the foundation on my skin. I think it did a really good job of covering up the redness on my face. You still can see some of my like birthmarks coming through the foundation, which kind of I like just because it makes it looks more like skin, but it claims to be super full coverage. So keep that in mind. That's just what happened with my skin. You can still see some of like the birthmarks coming through my skin. But it did a really good job of covering the redness, which I really, really like. Let's just try another coat to see what it looks like when it's layered. Oh, this is so full coverage. Okay, so that is with another layer on just the cheek area, because that is where I have the most redness. So as you can see, the finish of this foundation is natural. There's no real shine to it. I would say it's more on the matte side, but I still have a little bit of sheen to it. So I do agree with the whole natural finish. With the high coverage, like I said, you can still see some of the birthmarks coming through on my skin, but I kind of like that because it makes it look more skin-like. The only thing I didn't like about this foundation was it was super hard to blend out. I don't know if it was because of the beauty blender. I have used the Kat Von D foundation before using a beauty blender. I had no problem. It was super easy to blend out. This just seemed like it was just, I feel like I was like pulling on my skin and trying to make it blend. And I still feel like it really didn't blend well in some areas, like around this area. And right here, I feel like it's not blended very well. I just feel like with a regular foundation, it took less time blending than this foundation. It took a lot longer. So that was one of my cons. I'm not really a big fan of that. But we'll see how it wears throughout the day. especially around my nose area. This is where the foundation tends to break up the most. And I do get some creasing in my smile lines and some right here just because that's where I go like this. But mostly in my smile lines, I've noticed it lately. So let's see if this settles in my lines throughout the day. So right now I'm gonna go put the rest of my makeup on to see how other makeup lays on top of this foundation. And then I'll be right back and show you the finished result. Okay, so the rest of my makeup is on. It seemed to apply normally like any other foundation, so that's okay. The only thing I noticed with this foundation as it set on my face and it was sitting there a little bit longer, I noticed that it enlarged my pores in this area. I don't have huge pores, but I have noticeable ones, but you don't usually see them when I wear foundation. So that's another thing. Overall, it lays really well on my face. No creasing has happened yet. So the only two cons that I have so far are it didn't blend well when I was applying it and it enlarged my pores a little bit. But overall, it has really nice coverage. The color matches perfectly with my fake tan. Again, I am the shade 305 Natural Beige. So yeah, we'll see how it lays on my skin throughout the day. It is currently 2:37. I went to shop earlier today and got it there, so I have a little late start to the day. I've already gotten lunch, did some errands, but I have to go clean my room. I have to go back to Walgreens and I'll just be hanging out with Cash, so I'm going to be doing things throughout the day. I will check back in with you later on in the day and see how it looks on my skin. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Hey guys, so I'm back. Sorry if you can hear the dryer going. It's so old and loud in my apartment at school and it's going right now. I really hope you guys can't hear it. But it is currently 6 o'clock. So it's been about 3.5 hours since I've applied my makeup. So far it looks super, super good. Let's see if we can zoom in and see what it really looks like. So from what I can see in my mirror, well, I'm actually really impressed. So what I did was I did a couple errands, I cleaned, and then I ate lunch. I ate dinner. So from the amount of time that it's been on, I noticed that there is little creasing in my smile lines, which is so big because I usually crease so bad right there. And then I usually crease right here, right between my eyebrows. And there's a little bit of line, but it's not too bad. I've had worse. Honestly, it looks so good, and I'm super surprised because usually really, really thick foundations tend to crease a ton on your face. Let me zoom back out. So I'm super impressed because usually really, really thick foundations and full coverage foundations tend to really, really settle into your lines in your face. So I'm really impressed that it did not settle into my prominent lines on my face. I'm so excited about that. Let's look at my pores because we did have an issue when I first applied it that it really accentuated the pores right in this area, even though I did use Benefit's Professional, which I use on a daily basis, and it really does help, and my pores really aren't that prominent. They're not as bad as when I first applied it. You do see a little bit, but it's nothing like crazy, which I'm surprised about because when I first applied it, it was so prominent and you could really see it. It really settled into my pores. There's a little breakup around the nose area underneath here. There's a little bit of redness popping through, but nothing crazy. Usually this wears off by the end of the day on the tip of my nose. So far it's going super strong and it looks really good right now. I should test this out in the summer because I have really oily skin in the summer, but right now there's no oil shining through. T-zone is perfect. So far it looks like it looked like when I applied it, except for the pores, it's gone down. So it looks great. Really impressed. So we will come back and check on the face at roughly 8 o'clock. I'll come back, which is about 5 hours of, 4 hours? 4, 5, 6, about 5.5 hours of wear, which is good. That's what I would usually wear on a normal basis anyway. So trying to test and see like a normal day basis how it would wear on my skin, and so far it's looking great. So I will see you back at 8 o'clock. Okay guys, I am back for my final thoughts on this foundation. It is currently 8 o'clock. I don't know if you guys can see that. but I've worn it for almost a full day. So here are my final thoughts on the L'Oreal Paris Infallible Total Cover Foundation. So everything looks to be about the same way that I applied it earlier today. The only thing is it has settled into my smile lines a little bit. They are a little bit more prominent now that the day has gone on. You can see up here in my forehead a little bit, but nothing too crazy. There is some separation underneath my nose and around my nostrils, which usually happens. But that is about it. Usually this is the most prominent part of where the foundation breaks up just because I do have smile lines. But overall, it is still on my nose. It's still on my chin. It actually looks really, really good. So overall, the foundation did wear throughout probably about a half a day. I didn't wear it the entire day just because I didn't put it on until around 2:30. But it did last a really long time. The shade was a perfect match for me. It did not oxidize on my skin once I placed it on my skin. It stayed the same color, which is so important to me. I hate when foundations oxidize. One of my biggest pet peeves. The only bad thing I can say about this foundation is it was super, super hard to blend out when I first applied it to my skin. I don't know, I've tried full coverage foundations before. That never really happened to me before. Usually it's easier with the Beauty Blender because it is very thick consistency, so you really want to use the Beauty Blender to make it blend out easier. I feel like it's harder with a brush, but it still was pretty hard to blend out. It looks fine now, but it took a while to blend it out, and that's not what I really want to do when I put on foundation. And my consistency I like more of a liquidy consistency, but that's just my preference. That's the only thing I can really say bad about this foundation. It stood up to what it said. It was full coverage. The finish was natural, and it lasted, I mean, it didn't last 24 hours because I didn't wear it for 24 hours, but it lasted a pretty long time. Usually foundation just breaks up naturally on my nose. But overall, my overall rating of this foundation has to be about a 7.5 to an 8. I couldn't really choose just because, I don't know, I'm a really indecisive person. But it's in that range just because I didn't like how it blended out, but that is about it. It is such a really good foundation for the price of drugstore. And honestly, it could be a dupe for any full coverage foundations. If you're looking for a full coverage foundation, I would try this out first. It's really not that bad of a foundation, and I really liked it. Another thing I noticed throughout the day was I kind of forgot that I was wearing foundation. It doesn't feel heavy at all. It doesn't even feel like I'm wearing makeup. I actually was scratching my face while I was like on my phone. I was like, oh my god, I have foundation on. I have to do a review. So I kind of forgot that I was wearing foundation, which is a good thing because with the Kat Von D foundation, sometimes I can feel that it is on my skin, and I don't like that. I don't like that I can feel like my face having stuff on it. So I really like that about this. You could not feel this on your skin at all. So I definitely like this. With me repurchasing it, I don't know if I'd repurchase it just because the whole blendability thing really made me a little annoyed. But it is a really good full coverage, weightless feel, definitely foundation. And if I really needed a full coverage day, I would definitely use this over the Kat Von D just because I like how it feels and wears more than the Kat Von D. So if that helps you with your decision of whether you should get it or not, there you go. And it's really inexpensive, so you're not really breaking your bank if you want to try out this foundation. So I definitely recommend it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this foundation review. If you guys like me doing foundation reviews and first impressions of foundations, please give this video a thumbs up so I know to do more of these types of videos. And don't forget to subscribe down below so you guys don't miss any more of my posts. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!